Performance testing. The goal is to ensure the application runs smoothly and efficiently for users, especially when multiple people are using at once or when it's handling a large amount of data. Performance testing checks how well a software application performs under expected workloads. It measures key aspects like the speed, how fast it responds, responsiveness, how quickly it reacts to user action, and stability, how reliability runs over time or under stress.
What is performance testing? Performance testing evaluates how a system or application performs and scales under different conditions. It helps identify bottlenecks, measures performance under varying loads, and ensures the system can handle expected users or transactions. Performance testing is a type of software testing that checks how well an application performs under expected or stress conditions. It helps ensure the system is fast, stable, and scalable.
Types of performance testing. Number 1 is load testing. Load testing is simulate real-world users to evaluate the system's performance under typically stress. It helps identify bottleneck and determines how many users or transactions the system can handle before performance issue arise. Number 2 is stress testing. Stress testing pushes the system beyond its normal limits to find its breaking point. It shows how the system behaved under extreme conditions, revealing potential weaknesses. Number 3 is spike testing. Spike testing tests the system's reaction to sudden and users' traffic. It helps find issues caused by unexpected surges in traffic, such as a marketing campaign or a viral event. Soak testing. Soak testing evaluates how the system performs under continuously load over an extended period of time. It detects issues like memory leaks or performance degradation that occur after prolonged use. Number 5, endurance testing. Endurance testing is similar to soak testing, but it focuses more on checking the long-term performance under a consistent load to ensure the system remains stand over time.
Volume testing tests system performance by loading large volumes of data into the database. It checks how the software behaves and performs with varying amounts of stored data. Volume testing, ito ay sinusuri ang performance ng system kapag may malaking dami ng data upang malaman kung kaya nitong humawak ng lumalaking impormasyon. Scalability testing evaluates how well a system can scale to accommodate increased user load. It helps plan for future growth and ensures the application can handle expansion effectively. Scalability testing, ito ay tinitignan kung gaano kahusay ang system sa pag-handle ng mas maraming users habang lumalaki o lumalawak ang gamit nito.
Why use performance testing? To eliminate performance congestion or slowdowns, to identify problems and improvements before the software is released. To ensure the software is fast, stable, and reliable, to evaluate how the software performs under different loads, to identify bottlenecks that can slow down the system, to make sure it can handle expected users or transaction in real-world usage.
How to conduct performance testing. Number 1. Identify test environment. Ito ay alamin kung saan at paano iti-test ang system. Number 2. Determine performance criteria. Ibigay ang mga inasahang bilis, kapasidad, at katatagan. Number 3. Plan and design. Gumawa ng plano kung paano isasagawa ang testing. Number 4. Configure test environment. Ito ay ayusin ang system at tools na gagamitin sa testing. Number 5. Analyze and retest. Ito ay isagawa ang planong disenyo ng test. 6. Run test. Ito ay gamitin ang tools para subukan ang performance ng system. 7. Implement test design. Ito ay i-analyze ang resulta at ulitin kung kailangan para sa mas magandang performance.
Step 1. Up the testing environment. First, prepare the place where you will run the test for the performance testing. Make sure you have all the needed tools and understanding for the setup, like what device and software you will be using for the performance testing. Step 2. Decide what to measure. Think about what you want to know from the test. This will include things like how fast the system responds to and how much it can handle the test. You can also look successful similar systems to set. Step 3. Plan your test to figure out different scenarios to test, considering things like how users might behave and what data you will use. This helps create tests that cover a range of situations. Decide what data to collect. Step 4. Set up your tools. Get everything ready for testing, including tools and ways to track what's happening during the Step 5. Create and run tests. Make the tests based on your plan and run them. Keep track of all the data you get from the test. Step 6. At the results after each test, see what you find out. Adjust your test based on what you learn and run them again to see if things can change.
Performance testing attributes. Number 1 is speed. It determines whether the software product responds rapidly. Ito ay sinusukat kung gaano kabilis tumugon ang software. Number 2 is scalability. It determines the amount of load the software product can handle at a time. Ito ay tinitingnan kung gaano karaming load ang kayang i-handle ng software. Number 3 is stability. It determines whether the software product is stable in case of varying workloads. Ito ay tinitingnan kung mananatiling maayos ang takbo ng software kahit pabago-bago ang load. Number 4, reliability. It determines whether the software product is secure or not. Ito ay sinusuri kung gaano katiyak at ligtas gamitin ang software.
Advantages of performance testing. 1. Identify bottlenecks. Performance testing helps identify bottlenecks in the system, such as slow database queries, memory shortage, or network congestions. These are areas where the system slowdowns and can cause delays. By finding these bottlenecks, developers can optimize and fix them to improve overall system performance. Example, if a website takes too long to load, performance testing may reveal that the database queries are taking too much time. Optimizing these queries can significantly speed up the website. Number 2, improve scalability. By identifying the maximum capacity of the system, performance testing ensure that the system can scale and handle increasing users or transactions over time. This is especially critical for systems expecting high traffic volume such as e-commerce website or streaming platforms. Number 3, improve reliability. Number 3, improve reliability. Nabubulol ba ako? Number 3, improve reliability. Performance testing helps identify issues that may arise under heavy load conditions such as increased error rates or slow response times. By detecting these potential issues early, the system can be optimized to remain reliable and stable when it's deployed in a production environment. Example, in a banking system, performance testing might uncover slow transaction process during peak usage times. Identify and fixing these issues ensure that transactions are processed reliability during critical time.
Advantages of performance testing. Number 1, reduce risk. By identifying potential issues before deployment, performance testing helps reduce the risk of system failure or poor performance in production. Ito ay naagapan ang mga issue bago i-deploy, kaya iwas sa aberya sa production. Cost-effective. Performance testing is more cost-effective than fixing problems that occur in production. It is much cheaper to identify and fix issues during the testing phase than after deployment. Ito ay mas mura ayusin ang problema habang testing kaysa kapag naka-deploy na. Improve user experience. By identifying and addressing bottlenecks, performance testing helps ensure that users have a positive experience when using the system. This can help improve customer satisfaction and loyalty. Ito ay naayos ang mga bagal sa system kaya mas maganda ang karanasan ng user. Better preparation. Performance testing can also help organizations prepare for unexpected traffic patterns or changes in usage that might occur in the future. Ito ay nakakatulong ito sa paghahanda sa biglaang dami ng users o pagbabago sa paggamit.
Compliance. Performance testing can also help ensure that system meet regulatory requirements and industry standards, especially for the critical sectors like healthcare, finance, or government. In healthcare, performance testing ensuring that a hospital system can securely and efficiently handle patient data in compliance with regulations like HIPAA. Better understanding of the system Performance testing provides better understanding of how the system behaves under various conditions, helping developers spot potential users and enhance system design. Example, after testing, developers might find that a web server handles traffic well but struggles with database queries under load. This understanding helps improve the system's design.
Disadvantages of performance testing. Sometimes, users may find performance issues in the real-time environment. Di maiwasang issue o real-time issues, minsan may lumalabas pa ring problema sa totoong gamit. Team members who are writing test scripts or test cases in the automation tool should have a high level of knowledge. Kailangan ng eksperto or high skill requirement, dapat may mataas na kaalaman ang gumagawa ng test scripts. Team members should have high proficiency in debugging the test cases or test scripts. Mahusay na pag-debug or debugging skills kailangang sanay sa pag-ayos ng mga test case o script. Low performance in the real environment may lead to the loss of a large number of users. Posibleng mawalan ng user or user loss. Mabagal na performance sa aktual na gamit ay pwedeng magdulot ng pag-alis ng maraming user.
Inaccurate result. If the performance testing environment does not accurately mirror the production environment of the scenarios don't reflect real-world usage, the test results might not be reliable. This could lead to incorrect conclusions about the system performance. Example, if a testing environment uses fewer servers than the production environment, the test may show better performance than expected when the system goes live. Difficulty simulating real-world usage. Simulating real-world usage in a test environment is challenging because predicting how users will interact with the system is difficult. As a result, it's hard to gauge if the system can handle the expected real-world load. Example, a social media platform faces unexpected user behaviors such as rapid switching between features or sudden bursts of activity which can be difficult to simulate in testing environment. Complexity in analyzing results. Performance tests generate a large amount of data and analyzing these results to identify the root cause of performance issues can be difficult. This process often requires expertise in both performance testing and troubleshooting.
Sometimes, users may find performance issues in the real-time environment. Di maiwasang issue o real-time issues, minsan may lumalabas pa ring problema sa totoong gamit. Team members who are writing test scripts or test cases in the automation tool should have a high level of knowledge. Kailangan ng eksperto or high skill requirement, dapat may mataas na kaalaman ang gumagawa ng test scripts. Team members should have high proficiency in debugging the test cases or test scripts. Mahusay na pag-debug o debugging skills kailangang sanay sa pag-ayos ng mga test case o script. Low performance in the real environment may lead to the loss of a large number of users. Posibleng mawalan ng user or user loss. Mabagal na performance sa aktual na gamit ay pwedeng magdulot ng pag-alis ng maraming user.
What is cloud-based performance testing? Cloud-based performance testing simulate real-world users' traffic on cloud computing platforms to assess the scalability, reliability, and overall performance of online applications. By leverage the scalability and flexibility offered by cloud infrastructure, these testing methods provides several advantages over traditional on-premises testing methods. It helps organize, identify performance bottlenecks, and optimize application performance effectively. Cloud-based performance testing allows for fast iteration and continuous improvement of software system. This enables business to delivering, performing, and dependable application in today's fast-paced digital world. The process involves distributing virtual users across multiple geographic locations, which helps test how the system responds under real-world traffic conditions. It also provides real-time insights, allowing developers to identify and address issues as they arise. Example: imagine a company launching an e-commerce website using cloud-based performance testing. Companies can simulate thousands of customers accessing the site simultaneously from different parts of the world. This helps the team identify if the website can handle the load without crashing or slowing down, especially during peak shopping season.
Performance testing tools. Number 1. Apache JMeter. It as an open source tool used for performance testing and load testing of applications. It simulates multiple users sending requests to a server, collecting performance metrics to analyze the application's behavior under different load conditions. Open source tool na ginagamit para sa performance at load testing. Ginagaya nito ang maraming users para sukatin ang performance ng app. Number 2, OpenSTA or Open Systems Testing Architecture. Apache JMeter is an open source tool used for performance testing and measuring the load and stress on web applications. Its main function is to simulate multiple users accessing a site simultaneously to evaluate its performance and scalability. Isa ring open source tool na sumusubok na lakas ng web app sa dami ng users na sabay-sabay mag-access. Number 3, LoadRunner. LoadRunner is a performance testing tool used to simulate virtual users and analyze the behavior of applications under load. It helps identify performance bottlenecks by measuring system performance and response times under varying conditions. Tool na gumagawa ng virtual users para makita kung paano umaandar ang app sa ilalim ng load at tukuyin ang mga performance problem.
Number 4, WebLoad. WebLoad is a performance testing designed for testing the scalability and reliability of web applications. It simulates user traffic and measures how well the web server processes requests and returns data. It is especially helpful for testing how web applications behave under varying levels of users. Example, a video streaming platform wants to test Gatling. Gatling is an open source load testing tool designed to assess the performance of web application. It simulates large number of users interacting with the application, identify performance bottleneck. Gatling provides real-time insight and is popular for easy-to-use interface and powerful performance metrics. Example, a software development company is launching a new feature on its platform and wants to see how its performance when thousands of users interact with it. They use Gatling to simulate users signing up for feature, complementing transaction, and navigation through the site. Gatling helps identify performance issues before the new features is launched to the public. Number 6, BlazeMeter. BlazeMeter is a cloud-based performance testing tool that simulates a large-scale users load on application to assess their performance. It helps develop run continuously performance tests and provides real-time performance analytics, making it easier to identify performance issues under stress. Example, a social media platform wants to test how it will perform during a major viral event. The platform uses BlazeMeter to simulate million users posting, commenting, and interacting with the site at the same time. BlazeMeter helps ensure the platform can handle the load and provide insight on potential performance problems.
Good day everyone, I am John Hines Jr. and this is my report. My report is all about white box testing. So what is white box testing? White box testing is a software testing technique that involves testing the internal structure and workings of a software application. The tester has access to the source code and uses this knowledge to design test cases that can verify the correctness of a software at the code level. White box testing is also known as structural testing or code-based testing, and it is used to test the software's internal logic, flow, and structure. The tester creates test cases to examine the code paths and logic flows to ensure they meet the specified requirements. What does white box testing focus on? White box testing includes testing a software application with an extended understanding of its internal code and structure. This type of testing allows testers to create detailed test cases based on the application's design and functionality. Here are some key types of tests commonly used in white box testing. First is the path testing. White box testing will be checks all possible execution paths in the program to ensure about each of one of the function behaves as expected. It helps verify that all logical conditions in the code are functioning correctly and efficiently with a properly manner, avoiding unnecessary steps with better code reusability. Second one is the input and output validation. By providing different inputs to a function, white box testing check all the function gives the correct output of each of the time. This helps to confirm that software consistently produces the required results under various conditions. And the third one is security testing. This will focuses on finding security issues in the code. Tools like static code analysis are used to check the code for potential security flaws, for checking the application for the best practices for secure development. The next one is loop testing. It will be checked that loops or for a while loops in the program operate correctly and efficiently. It checks that the loop handles variables correctly and doesn't cause errors like infinite loops or logic flaws. And the last one is the data flow testing. This involves tracking the flow of variables through the program. It ensures that variables are properly declared, initialized, and used in the right places, preventing errors related to correct data handling. There are three types of white box testing, which are the unit testing, integration testing, and the regression testing. Let's move on to white box testing techniques. One of the main benefits of white box testing is that it allows for testing every part of an application to achieve complete code coverage. The first technique is the statement coverage. In this technique, the aim is to traverse all statements at least once. Hence, each line of the code is tested. In the case of a flowchart, every node must be traversed at least once. Since all lines of code are covered, it helps in pointing out faulty code. If we see in the case of a flowchart, every node must be traversed at least once. Since all lines of code are covered, it helps in pointing out faulty code while detecting. The second technique is the branch coverage. Branch coverage focuses on testing the decision points or conditional branches in the code. It checks whether both possible outcomes, true and false, of each conditional statement are tested. In this technique, test cases are designed so that each branch from all decision points is traversed at least once. In a flowchart, all edges must be traversed at least once. And there are more types of techniques, like the condition coverage and the multiple condition coverage, and many more. And let's move on to the process of white box testing. White box testing include verify the internal workings of a software application. It checks that every aspect of the code is tested, basically on focusing on the logic, structure, and the flow of the software. Here's a breakdown of how this process works. As we can see in the photo, this is the process of white box testing: the input, processing, test execution, and the output. Let's move on to the tools of white box testing. In 2025, several tools have used for this process. Here are few white box testing tools: the SonarQube, Veracode, OS Code Pulse, Jacoco, PBS Studio, Checkmarx, Coverity, Clockwork, Code Climate, and the Codacy. These tools help developers to perform detailed analysis on the source code, checking that all potential issues are detected and addressed early in the development cycle. Its counterpart, black box testing, involves testing from an external or end-user type perspective. On the other hand, white box testing is based on the inner workings of an application and revolves around internal testing. The term white box was used because of the see-through box concept. The clear box or white box name symbolizes the ability to see through the software's outer shell or box into its inner workings. Likewise, the black box in black box testing symbolizes not being able to see the inner workings of one software so that only the end user experience can be tested. What is the difference between black box reuse and white box reuse? Black box reuse refers to reusing components without understanding their internal workings, focusing only on the inputs and outputs. while white box reuse involves reusing components with full knowledge of their internal structure, allowing for modifications or optimizations. In the end, there's no need to compete between these two, because black box testing and white box testing plays important role in the software testing of any application or product with clean result. Use black box testing when you want to evaluate the software from user's perspective, verify functionality against requirements, and the overall system behavior without needing to know all the internal workings. And use white box testing when you want to ensure that the internal code is correct, efficient, and secure, achieve high code coverage, and test a specific code components or logic. And here are the features of white box testing. First is the code coverage analysis. White box testing helps to analyze the code coverage of an application, which helps to identify the areas of the code that are not being tested. Next is the access to the source code. White box testing requires access to the application's source code, which makes it possible to test individual functions, methods, and modules. Next is the knowledge of programming languages. Testers performing white box testing must have knowledge of programming languages like Java, C++, Python, and PHP to understand the code structure and write tests. And next is the identifying logical errors. White box testing helps to identify logical errors in the code, such as infinite loops and incorrect conditional statements. Next is the integration testing. White box testing is useful for integration testing, as it allows testers to verify that the different components of an application are working together as expected. Next is the unit testing. White box testing is also used for unit testing, which involves testing individual units of code to ensure that they are working correctly. Next is the optimization of code. White box testing can help to optimize the code by identifying any performance issues, redundant code, or other areas that can be improved. And next is the security testing. White box testing can also be used for security testing, as it allows testers to identify any vulnerabilities in the application's code. Next is the verification of design. It verifies that the software's internal design is implemented in accordance with the designated design documents. Next is the check for accurate code. It verifies that the code operates in accordance with the guidelines and specifications. Next is the identifying coding mistakes. It finds and fixes programming flaws in your code, including syntactic and logical errors. And let's move on to the advantages and disadvantages of white box testing. Advantages of white box testing. The first one is the two-row testing. White box testing is two-row, as the entire code and structure are tested. The next one is the code optimization. It results in the optimization of code, removing errors and helps in removing extra lines of code. And next is the early detection of defects. It can start at an earlier stage, as it doesn't require an interface, as in the case of black box testing. And next is the integration with SDLC. White box testing can be easily started in software development lifecycle. And next is the detection of complex defects. Testers can identify defects that cannot be detected through other testing techniques. And lastly, the comprehensive test cases. Testers can create more comprehensive and effective test cases that covers all code paths. The disadvantages of white box testing. First is the programming knowledge and source code access. Testers need to have programming knowledge and access to the source code to perform tests. Next is the overemphasis on internal workings. Testers may focus too much on the internal workings of the software and may miss external issues. And next is the bias in testing. Testers may have a biased view of the software since they are familiar with its internal workings. And next is the test case overhead. Redesigning code and rewriting code needs test cases to be written again. And next is the dependency on testers' expertise. Testers are required to have an in-depth knowledge of code and programming language as opposed to black box testing. And next is the inability to detect missing functionalities. Missing functionalities can be detected as the code that exists and tested, increased production errors, high chances of errors in production. White box testing checks the internal code and logic of software to ensure it works properly and is optimized. It includes unit testing, integration testing, and regression testing, using methods like statement and branch coverage. While it helps catch defects early and improve performance, it requires knowledge of programming to understand issues related to the software's internal behavior. And that's all. Thank you.
Hi guys, this is our presentation API testing. This is Vincent Ivanchu.
Is Abon Joshua.
Testing. API testing is application programming interface testing. It's a type of software testing that focuses on the testing of the individual API methods and the interactions between different APIs. Ang API testing ito ay parang tulad ng nag-uugnayan sa dalawang magkabilang program o system para magkaintindihan sila. Ang madaling salita, ang API ay parang isang messenger na nagpapasa ng impormasyon mula sa isang system papunta sa isa pa.
Typically includes the following step: reviewing the IP testing documentation to understanding the functionality and expected input and output. Para maintindihan kung paano gumagana at kung paano ang nasahang input at output. Para maintindihan kung paano ito gumagana at kung paano ito ay nasahang input at output. Waiting test cases that exercise the different functionality of the API upang masubukan ang iba't ibang functionality ng API. Executing the test cases and comparing the expected result without the actual result. Para ang inaasahang resulta at actual na nakuha. Analysis the result, the identifying any issues that needs to be fixed. Upang matukoy ang mga issue kailangang ayusin.
Several types of API testing including functional testing. Testing the function of the API to ensure it behaves as expected. Like, tinignan kung paano ang paggana ng API testing. Security testing. Testing the security of the API test to ensure the protected against common vulnerabilities. Like, siguradong ligtas ang API laban sa mga karaniwang banta. Performance testing. Performance testing. Testing the performance of the API to ensure it can handle the expected load. Like, sinusuri kung gaano kahusay ang API sa ilalim ng maraming requests. Interoperability testing. Testing the compatibility of the API with the other system. Usability testing. The testing the usability for the API for developers. Tools such as Postman, SOAP, UI, and Runscope can be used automated and simplify the process of the API testing.
Tool of API testing. API testing reference to this to test the API testing which are used in the application just to validate that the API testing are working fine. When a system has a collection of API, there needs to be tested to know that the system is working perfectly or not. Below list represent some of the tools which are used for API testing. Postman, Catalan Studio, SOAP UI, Parascope, Rest Assured, Recent is Tosca, Pin API, Assurable.
Testing. GUI testing of the different from the API testing of the GUI. This testing is present a presentation layer where the API testing is present at business layer. If we take an example of a typical app, then the API in the middle layer in between UI layer and database layer, and due to the API communication, the data exchange between the application occur. What exactly we check during API testing? Data accuracy, response time, duplicate of missing functionality, authorized checks, multi-headed threaded issues, security and performance issues, errors, and if API returns, reliability issues.
I think like we get a lot advantage we use API testing in application summary by performing API testing. We have argue a lot of things towards to say access to the developed application. Below are some benefits. Earlier verification, the correctness and response and data. Error loss management, better speed and coverage the testing. UI independent testing, reduce testing costs. Language independent testing, helpful in testing core functionality. Application testing has survival benefits that make it an important aspect of software testing. Improvement functionality. API testing helps ensures that the functionality of the API is work as expected and that the data being extended is accurate. The increased security. API testing helps identify and fix security vulnerabilities such as SQL injection and cross-site scripting. This helps ensures that the API is protected against common threats and that sensitivity.
Improve performance. API testing helps identify the fixed performance bottlenecks such as slow response times or high error rates. This helps to ensures that the API can handle the expected load and the users have a positive experience when using it. Better integration. API testing helps ensure that different systems that make up an application are working together correctly and that the data being exchanged is accurate and secure. Reduce risk. By identifying the fixing bugs before the application is deployed to production, API testing helps reduce the risk of the system failure of poor performance in production. Cost effectivity. API testing is the most cost effective at fixing problems that occur in productions. It is much cheaper to identify and to fix issues during the testing phase than the development. Improve developer experience by making sure that the API is easy to use, well documented, and provides useful errors message. API testing helps improve the developer experience and encourage adoption. Greater flexibility. API testing allows teams to test the application without a user interface, which can be useful when the testing microservice or when the user interface is not yet developed. Disadvantage of the API testing. Complexity. API testing can be complex, especially when the testing multiple APIs or when the testing APIs that are integrated with other systems. Limited visibility. Since the API testing is the performance at the integration level, it can be difficult to see how the API interacting with the other components of the system. This can make it difficult to identify the troubleshoot issues. Security. APIs can introduce security variabilities if they are not properly tested and secured. This can be a significant concern for the organization that handles sensitive data. Difficulty in the testing non-functional requirements. Non-functional requirements such as performance, scalability, and security are difficult to test with the functional testing. Time consuming. The time required to develop and execute test scripts for the APIs can be longer than the other type of testing. Limited documentation. Limited or poor documentation of the API can make it difficult for the tester to understand how the API should behave. Limited test coverage. It is difficult to test the possible scenarios and edge cases with the API testing. Cost. Automated API testing tools can be expensive. They require of a significant investment.
Type of bugs that many occur in the API testing. Performance issues. API response time can be very high and they many have latency. Response data may not secured correctly. JSON or XML. Security issues. Incorrect handling of valid agreement value. Improper errors and warning or clutter. Missing or duplicate functionality. Reliability issues. Defect quality. Connecting and getting a response from API.
What is automation testing? Automation testing is a software testing technique where you use specialized tools to execute test cases and compare actual results with expected results. This is a crucial part of the software development life cycle, especially for complex applications. Why automation testing? Number 1, speed and efficiency. Tests run much faster than manuals, once allowing for more frequent testing and quicker feedback. Number 2, accuracy and consistency. Tools eliminate human error, ensuring consistent test execute and reliability result. Number 3, usability. Tests can be used across multiple release and platforms, saving times and effort. Number 4, regression testing. Automatically checking if change is code break, existing functionality. Number 5, complex scenarios. Testing scenarios that are difficult or time-consuming to perform manually, such as performance testing or load testing. How it works. Test script development. Writing code to automate test cases using specialized tools like Selenium, Cypress, or Appium. Test execute. Running the script to perform action like clicking buttons, filling forms, and validating results. Result comparison. Comparing actual result with the expected result. Reporting. Generating details reports on test outcomes, including the errors and failures. The 4 benefits of automation testing. Number 1, improve software quality. Faster identification and fixing of defects. Number 2, reduce time to market. Faster development cycle and release timelines. Number 3, increase test coverage. Testing more scenarios including complex ones. Number 4, enhance productivity. Freeing up tester for more complex tasks. Types of automation testing. Number 1, unit testing. Testing individuals, units of code. 2, integration testing. Testing how different units of code work together. 3, functional testing. Testing the functionality of the software. 4, performance testing. Testing the performance of the software under load. 5. Regression testing. Verifying the changes in code haven't broken existing functionality. Key consideration of automation testing. Number 1, choosing the right tool. Select a tool that best fits your project needs and resources. Ito ay pagpili ng tool para sa best fits for our projects at pangangailangan ng resources o pagkukunan. 2. Test script maintenance. Regularly update scripts to reflect changes in the application. Ito ay regular na i-update natin ang mga script para sa pagbabago ng application. Number 3, integration with CI and CD. Integrating automation test with your continuous integrational and continuous delivery pipeline. Ang pagsasama ng mga pagsubok sa automation at tuloy-tuloy na pipeline ng paghahati. What is the process of automation testing? Number 1, define goals. Before starting automation, be clear about your long-term and short-term goals of test automation. Discussing the roadmap with higher management and stakeholders would be the best. Number 2, test approach planning. There are different testing levels. Automation is often confused with end-to-end testing, but there are many levels. Number 3, choose framework. Once you know the business value, the most critical part is the type of framework you choose. There are different types of automation frameworks. You need to discuss them with the team and choose the right one. Number 4, test automation environment. You should also know which environment the application under test will be used for validation, such as dev, staging, production for all tests. Number 5, risk analysis. Analyzing and communicating the risk to management is essential. Automation testing may have some risk based on your tool and strategy. Number 6, create, execute, and maintain test. Start creating the automation test for the critical features first. Once you create the test, execute them often. Number 7, DevOps integration. A DevOps integration also reduces the dependency of the testing team. Anybody can execute and get the report.
Managing testers workflow. First of all, what is Jira? Jira is a popular project management and issue tracking tools. Initially designed for software development, now widely. It used for various team workflows. Jira. Ano nga ba ang Jira? Ang Jira daw ay siya yung nagmamanage ng mga bugs, release, code, testers, parang ganun. Why Jira for testers? First, streamlines test management. Number 2, improve collaboration between developers, testers, and stakeholders. And provides transparency and visibility into testing progress. Why Jira for testers? So sabi, Jira for testers ay parang siya yung nagpapataas ng mga upang matiyak yung mga defects, parang bugs, ganun, para natitiyak na wala siyang kamali, ganun. Best practices for testers in Jira. Number 1, organizing tickets. Keep Jira tickets well structured and detailed to avoid confusion. Ganun. Collaborating with developers. Use Jira for seamless collaboration and clear communication between testers and developers. So, collaboration with developers, parang mas pinapahusay nila yung mga sites, parang ganun, sites, codes, mga ganyan, para mapahusay nila. So, benefits of using Jira testing. Number 1, visibility and transparency. Provides clear insight into testing progress and defect status. To collaboration with communication, encourage better interaction between testers, developers, and stakeholders. Then, efficiency and organization. Streamlines test case management, defect tracking, and reporting. Para ma-report nila kung may mga pagkakamali ba yung code, may bugs, may error, parang ganun. Contaminability. Tailored Jira workflows, issues types, and reports to suit specific teams' needs.
This is our last topic, and it's all about the freelance testing website. So what is freelance testing website? Freelance testing websites offers a flexible and potentially lucrative way for individuals to earn money while contributing to the quality of software and websites. These platforms connect businesses needing testing services with freelance testers who provide feedback and identify bugs. The work is often remote and can be done on a flexible schedule, making it appealing to those seeking supplemental income or a career change. And the types of freelance testing websites. Several websites specialize in connecting freelance testers with clients. These platforms vary in their approach and the types of testing they offer. Some focus on user experience testing, where testers provide feedback on the ease of use and overall experience of a website or application. Others focus on bug finding, where testers actively search for glitches and errors in the software. Some websites offer both types of testing. Here are some examples of popular freelance testing websites. The first one is the user testing, known for its user experience testing. User testing pays testers for recording themselves using website or apps and providing feedback. Next is the Userlytics. This platform offers various testing opportunities, including usability testing, market research surveys, and website testing. And next is the IntelliZoom panel. IntelliZoom focuses on website usability testing for both desktop and mobile devices. Next is the TryMyUI. TryMyUI specializes in providing feedback on the user experience of websites and apps. And lastly, the Userfeel. Userfeel is another platform focused on usability testing, where testers provide feedback on websites. And these are the benefits of freelance testing website for the testers and the businesses. Benefit for testers. Flexibility. Freelance testing often allows for flexible working hours and locations. Next is the variety. Testers can choose projects that align with their interests and the skills. And next is the income. While pay varies, testers can earn extra income from their testing work. And lastly, the skill development. This work provides valuable experience in software testing and user experience. And these are the benefits for businesses. First is the cost effective. Hiring freelance testers is often more affordable than maintaining an in-house testing team. Next is the diverse perspectives. Freelance testers provide a wide range of perspectives and experiences. And next is the faster feedback. Businesses can receive rapid feedback on their product. And lastly, the improved quality. Thorough testing leads to higher quality software and websites. And that's all. Thank you.